Talk to me about your Airbnb fetish that you have.
Well, first I want to say that your first purchase should always be a multifamily. Use an FHA mortgage to get your multifamily. It's the only time you can do that. You want to split your risk and increase your return. So like if you were to buy a single family home or a condo as an investment, if that tenant leaves, you have 100% vacancy, 0% occupancy. Whereas if you have multifamily, one person leaves, you have other units that are still paying the bills. So that's first and foremost. But second, short-term rents is a great way to increase your return on investment. And Airbnb, VRBO, and all those other short-term things, it's kind of, I don't know, disruptive technology. But 20 years ago, if you would have asked me, would you pay a stranger to stay in their home while they're not? No.
Right.
My answer is like, no.
Right.
But that has changed because now
Like, you know,
Uber, get into a stranger's, your parents told you don't get into a stranger's car, and now I'm calling a stranger to take me somewhere. That's kind of crazy, but it shows you how we've changed. Though I would say in the 70s, hitchhiking was normal. Until people got killed. So at least Uber is safer. Airbnb and VRBO and all those things as well. You can increase your return on investment. And so for example, I have a multifamily that I purchased, like I said, with an FHA loan as a primary, lived there for a year, renovated, fixed it up, got it ready, rented it, moved out. And I am getting on average 30 to 50% more with the short-term rents than I would on a long-term rent. And the short-term renters, which are just here on vacation, are hardly ever home because they're shopping or at the beach or at the mall or who knows where, and they're using less water and less electricity. Whereas your tenants who live there are there and you're stuck with them, whether you like them or not, or they pay late, or you got to deal with all those things. With short-term rents, I don't have to deal with any of that. And with Airbnb, VRBO, and all those other portals out there, there's also an insurance policy that will cover you for any damage. And so that is an extra layer of protection that if you were to do some of that short-term rents just on your own, directly with the person, you don't have that layer of protection. So even though there is a fee for those Airbnb and VRBO companies, it's not a huge fee. The guest actually pays more of that booking fee than the host. So I'd say, hands down, I'd prefer they pay me through that portal. Airbnb, for example, they pay my taxes, my sales tax. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to think about that. You know, I'm not going to get audited at the end of the year. They take care of it. But again, you increase your ROI, and it's important to know when you want to do this short-term rents that the number of bedrooms is important, but it's actually the number of beds and the number that you can sleep. So if you've got a studio, you're stuck to 2 people at max. If you got a 1-bedroom with a living room, you can do 4. If you got a 2-bedroom, now you can do 4 or 6 if you've got the living room area, for example. Now, you don't necessarily always want to maximize that, but it does give you that opportunity to do that and charge more for so many guests, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Like I charge an extra $75 for anybody over 5 people. You know, because it's 2 bedroom, you know, so at that point, like, I'm going to incur more expenses. I'm going to have more cleaning fees and whatnot. That's another thing. It's very important. If you're going to manage this yourself, which I think is really easy to do, especially all through the app, the most important thing as a host is you need to have a good, responsible cleaning crew. Not only now because of COVID, you have to have extra cleaning and extra products and all that, but the worst thing for a host who has another job and a life to be like, oh, somebody's checking out, another person's checking in, you've got 4 hours to clean the place, and you're like, you have nobody to help you. You can make more money if you do the cleanings yourself, but no thanks. I've got a job where I make decent money. I'd like to employ somebody and create a job and provide for another person, and I think that's the best way to do it. So that's what I do. I have a nice, good, reliable crew so that I don't have to worry, and you can make them your co-host. You can be the owner of the house. You do the Airbnb. You're ultimately responsible for everything. But your cleaning crew can be your co-host so they know when people are checking in and checking out. You can also get a manager if you just want to just set it and forget it. You do pay a little bit more for that. I think it's 20%. I don't know if there's a standard, but I think it's about 20%. That way you don't have to think about it. They do all the cleaning. They do all the checking in and the checking out. You're basically like subletting your property to somebody that's going to run Airbnb. Not exactly, but kinda.
Right, I see it.
So it depends on what your level of participation is. But even though I work full-time as a real estate broker with my own agents and my own clients, I do have that Airbnb and I do manage it myself, and it's very simple. And once you have it rolling, like my place is rented through May.
Wow. So I know you mentioned the beds. That's a way to maximize revenue. What are some other things? I know my clients who are interested in exploring their Airbnb fetish, they're listening and they're probably wondering, do I add a hot tub? Do I remodel the kitchen? What are some other things that they can really maximize their earnings?
Decor, really, you want to make it look hot, you want to make it look sexy. I think having a pool or a hot tub is also an added bonus because people are going to look for that. And really, the property's got to be in the right location. Like, I can't expect to make very good money on a property that's in the middle of nowhere, far from the airport, far from the beach, far from the mall. It needs to be in the right location. So the property that I have in Fort Lauderdale is 2 miles to the beach, walking distance to restaurants, shops, and a supermarket. And so that makes it very convenient because a lot of these guests are not necessarily going to have a car. Being walkable is key. Doesn't have to be walkable, but that's definitely key. If it's a $5, $10 Uber ride, that's great too. But being in the middle of it, where it is just, life and, the downtown area or the beach or the mall. Down here in South Florida, we have a lot of tourists that come here to shop. And so being close to the mall is an added bonus.
Right.
They'll go to the beach and the mall.
So location is huge. Are there any little things, what do you think about the hosts that do the upgrades or the add-ons, or they lay out the snacks and they charge that? Is that more of a headache?
So it is a little bit more management intensive, but once you get your system down, I think that's a great way to make more money. And you know how many water bottles and how many Snicker bars and how many whatever else that you put out there. And so what's missing is what they owe you, and then you request the money separately. Now, it could be an honor system as well, but think about it. You're putting out five bottles of water and like 5 candy bars. How much does that cost you? But what you're going to make, even if you sell it $1 a bottle, that's $10. It costs you $2.
Right.
So it's a great way of making extra money. And I would say that, yes, you should upgrade the home and make it functional more than anything. It doesn't have to be brand spanking new, but there is something to be said about charging a premium for that. It just depends what part of the market you want to encompass. I think making it pretty is more important than making it new, because people aren't moving in. They're staying for 3 days or a week or 2. And I would say, as a host, I prefer people not there more than 2 weeks.
Why is that?
Because once they're there more than 2 weeks, they're your problem. Oh, we don't have towels. Oh, with this. Oh, that. No, I'm not interested. The towels I gave you are the towels you get. But if they're there for a month, now they're your tenants. Now they're going to have more demands and more wants, and I personally don't see the return for me.
Right.
Though in a slow month, I would do it for a month, because better than having nobody, or having 1 week or 2 weeks. So our high season here is October through April. We have a mini season in the summer for South Americans because they have a reverse schedule. But on a random July, well, that's for 4th of July. That's actually going to be pretty big. Again, like if you're in the right location, it doesn't really matter because, at least pre-COVID, we had a lot of festivals and concerts, and people would come for that. I'm not too far away from the Broward Performing Arts Center, so anytime there would be a new show that would come to town, even the people in the show would look for the Airbnb because they're going to be there for 2 weeks while the show is there. And so all those things are taken into consideration. But if you're in a very slow month, then it would behoove you to give somebody a discount and have them stay there for a longer period. But on average, I personally prefer no more than 2 weeks.
Definitely restricting, the amount of time somebody stays with you. What would you say is like another best practice?
Don't let unknowns auto book. So
Okay.
you can set your listing to be auto book. So in essence, somebody can book it right away without having to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't allow auto books for people that are new to the platform and don't have any reviews. I also require that government-issued IDs are verified so that I know I'm not getting potentially a troublemaker. It's not discrimination. It's your property. You need to make sure that you're careful with it. There's something to be said about being a super host, but I do not need to be a super host. I prefer be a careful host so that my property is not damaged and everybody has a good time. I've only had one time where somebody had an authorized party, and that was my fault partially because I allowed a last-minute booking from a new user to the platform that had no reviews. And so I knew I was taking a chance. And I don't know, that day I kind of felt like flying by the seat of my pants. And I made a mistake because then it cost me an extra $300 cleaning, and they broke a chair. They had no major damage, but still.
Right.
It delayed the next person's check-in because I had a lot more work to do, in which I would not have had that issue had I asked a couple more questions, like how many people are going to stay, one person on the booking, but it's a 2-bedroom. I'm understandable if there's another person that shows up with you, but if there's another 5 people that show up with you, now that's not necessarily even permitted. And you also run into a fire hazard. You can have 4 people in a 2-bedroom, maybe 5 or 6 people max in a 2-bedroom. You can't have 10 people in a 2-bedroom, right? That becomes a problem. And so I would say, as a host, don't allow the auto booking unless people are basic veterans of Airbnb or VRBO. When you get somebody that has been doing these short-term rentals on the platform for years, it's a breeze, and they leave the place clean.
Right, they clean up.
They clean up because they know they're going to get a review.
Right.
Those reviews are very important. Like I said, if they have good reviews, they can auto book. It's like now you've passed. You've passed the test. That is important, and making sure you have enough time in between bookings to get the property clean and ready. And though, again, it depends on who your team is that helps you turn the property. When I say turn it is flip it between guests. Get it clean, get it ready, new sheets, towels, etc. Do all the laundry and whatnot. It's good to have extra so that you don't have to do the laundry to get right. Have a lot of extra. It's good to give yourself enough time. If you have one person that's helping you, then maybe you want to have a day in between bookings to make sure that it gets done, because it's not a good look as a host to tell the person that's supposed to be checking in, sorry, I need more time. You have to wait outside with your luggage. No, I personally don't allow immediate bookings. Like if you need to move in tomorrow, where are you running from? Right? So did you get kicked out of your last place?
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Who makes a last trip vacation down?
I had a friend that was vacationing, and we were a group of them, and they were going to be staying. They were jumping from country to country in Europe, and they were coming and they were staying in France. The day before their booking, the people in France, the hosts in France, canceled their booking because they could get more money through somebody else.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I had this happen to me once when I wanted to go to DC, but apparently there was a convention or something of that week. And so I booked it, and they canceled it to me the next day, and they tripled the price.
Really?
Yeah.
So I tried to do that once for Art Basel. Because I had auto pricing on. And I didn't realize it was Art Basel, and I was charging something stupid like $99 a night on Collins Ave, 16th and Collins.
Yeah.
And I was like,
great deal.
Yeah, great deal. And I saw the message. She's like, oh yeah, I'm coming here for Art Basel. Shit, I need to cancel. And I tried to cancel, but they said if I cancel, it would black out the calendar.
You can change it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can change, or be on multiple platforms.
Are you just on Airbnb, or do you diversify?
I'm also on Mr. B&B, but Airbnb is 99% of my bookings. And it's probably because there's more people on that platform, and they book it, so those dates are then not available on the other platform. You have to make sure that your calendars are synchronized so you don't get a double booking from a different platform. You can be booked on one and it has to black them out on the other. But like if you had to cancel something and one platform's giving you a problem, open it up on the other one and you'll be fine. But it's not good practice to do, but I understand why. Like I understand why she did it, right? At the end of the day, that convention was canceled and that property, she didn't get a booking, but something's better than nothing. But yeah, I understand why she did it. Another thing, cancellation policy. I have a strict cancellation policy.
What's strict mean dependent?
You can't cancel the day before and not have to pay, because I would have rented it to somebody else. I'm not going to do a 24-hour booking. That's one of the reasons why I got stuck on the last time with the party that ended up having a party, is because I had a cancellation, and so I filled the cancellation, which in retrospect I shouldn't have. But a strict cancellation policy will make it so that there is going to be a cancellation fee, so people will think twice about booking and canceling. Some people will book a couple of places just so that they have options, and then they'll cancel them. And if you have a flexible cancellation policy, Airbnb would love for you to have a flexible cancellation policy. It's better for them, but it's not necessarily better for you. So I do a strict cancellation policy, and I don't allow the address to be seen until, because it's obviously on the map, so you know where it is.
Yeah.
But I don't want people sending mail.
Oh.
I don't want people sending mail, and I don't want people showing up early or potentially bothering another guest. So the address is not disclosed until 2 weeks before you arrive. People ask me sometimes, can I send mail there? Yes, sure. This is the address. Now I know what's coming, right? But if not, you may get inundated with a whole bunch of Amazons of who knows whose Amazon delivery it is. The current guest is getting some deliveries. There's another guest getting deliveries, and it's just going to be a huge mess. I make it that way. It's security too. And have cameras.
Yeah.
Not necessarily inside the property because you want to give people some freedom, to be comfortable. But I have cameras on the exterior and by the entrance, so I know if you had a party, I have everybody on camera.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's smart. I mean, just to protect yourself.
Yeah, to protect your property. And also, you don't want the police to be called because you're having an unauthorized party and it's going to come down on you, right? If somebody wants to have guests over, that's okay, but you tell me. Like, I have a guest right now who's actually a host, and those are the best too because they know.
Oh, so you get approved, like.
Yeah, no problem. No, it says she's a host. She can auto book because she's a host and she's got reviews. She told me, so I have a friend that's going to be coming in town staying with us for 3 days. Is that okay? Yeah, that's no problem. I have an inflatable mattress in there. And she's like, oh, no, it's a 2-bedroom. That bedroom is free. That she'll stay there for those 3 days. Not a problem. Okay, cool. That's not a big deal. That's courteous. That is, you're in somebody else's home.
Right, the communication.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like for somebody just getting started, it can be a lot. It's like a second business. Airbnb, I think they called it host fatigue. After a while of cleaning, and I know I felt that way. After like the 7th turn.
Well, if you're doing the cleaning, that's why I said hire somebody.
Yeah,
you got to price that in.
How would you say somebody, just thinking of it? Do you throw it on a spreadsheet? Do you track your expenses? Like, what's like a game plan?
Try to have a set price with the person that's going to be cleaning.
Okay. So
that you can actually charge that cleaning fee to the guest. And sometimes I may not charge the entire cleaning fee to the guest. Like if they're going to charge me $100 to do the turn, I'll charge $85 so that it's not too heavy. But that's another reason why I also don't allow bookings for less than 3 days. Because if I got to pay a cleaning fee, some people want to stay 24 hours or 48 hours, but I still got to do the cleaning fee. It's the same turn. It's less money. So I personally don't do it. I'd say that you'd probably get a lot of fatigue if you're doing everything. And if you're cleaning it and you're doing the laundry, then it's a full-time job. That's why I say factor that in and have somebody else do it. You're creating a job and it's less headache for you. I'm only involved in approving or denying a booking request. Other than that, they got it under control.
It's all on autopilot.
Yeah, and you should also factor in that you're probably going to have to get new sheets and new towels and somebody's going to break a cup. So that's going to be part of it as well, but it's fairly minor.
What else?
I'd say take advantage of it. House hack. Do it. Yeah. Not only are you making it possible for people to travel and see sites and cities that they wouldn't normally have been able to do because Airbnb is less expensive. People wanted to go to Fort Lauderdale where I have my Airbnb and be 2 miles from the beach in a hotel room. They'd be spending, $300 a night, and I'm charging $150, I think, at the max for that 2-bedroom. Right, I could charge more, maybe sometimes depending, but I prefer have it booked months in advance and not have to worry about it. That way, if I get one cancellation or the other, it's not really going to affect me. Depends how you want to run it. Some people prefer deck the place out to the nines, renovate it, charge a premium, and then rent it 1 week or 2 weeks a month, as opposed to like I have it rented 28 days out of the month or something like that. Depends how you want to do it. Do it how it's going to be convenient for you. It can be a side hustle or it can be a toy. Mine's like a toy. I just play with this thing. It's fun. I like it. I could rent it out and make a little less money and maybe less headache. Probably not, but I enjoy it. And like I said, I feel like I am providing a job because I have people that are working and flipping the place. And I'm also providing a service so that folks can come and see Miami, Fort Lauderdale, where, they couldn't necessarily afford to do that before.
So if somebody wanted to learn more about how to get started with an FHA loan or how to get started with a multifamily, what would be their next steps?
Well, first, talk to a good reputable banker, and I can definitely recommend some. But get your ducks in a row. I'd say before you even do your taxes, talk to your banker because you want to make sure that you're not taking huge deductions on your income to reduce your tax burden, but then you can't use that income to then qualify for a loan. But one of the good things about being able to purchase a multifamily with an FHA loan is that you never have the opportunity to leverage so much with so little. Any other time you want to purchase a multifamily, it's 25% down, but it's 3.5% down in your first time as your primary to purchase that property. And you get credit of 75% of the rental income for all the units except the one that you're supposed to live in, which is typically the largest one, but that will credit goes towards your income to help you qualify for the loan. This is a tangent from Airbnb, but if you are a first-time home buyer just out of college with a job within your degree, for FHA, work and school are the same thing. So with conventional, you need 2 years in the same line of work in order to qualify, where FHA is school is work And so the day you are out of college or whatever, it doesn't even have to be college. It can be a nursing degree, something like that, a program where you get certified or something. And one day out with the job, now you qualify to purchase. 3.5% down. The money can be gifted from family. The seller can pay your closing costs, and you get the income boost from the rental income of the property, enabling you to buy a property, to buy an investment, a long-term investment. I say folks want to get out of school and buy their dream home. No. First off, as soon as you have it, it's never going to be your dream anyway. Buy the investment. Buy the multifamily. Get some rental income in your belt. And then 2 years later, you can qualify for a conventional loan on a single-family home with 5% down. That's the best way to leverage the most with the least, and really put an income-producing asset under your belt.